Apes M12 traffic.
Taking alarm off W tires.
I wanted to make a difference. And so in other words, I wasn't just doing this, I wasn't somebody who's looking for just a government job with a good pension later. I wanted to do some work where I could hopefully help people, and whether that's helping nice people or getting bad guys off the road or whatever it was. I didn't really know, but I knew that I wanted to come here and kind of make the most of it. This is like a really nice town full of really nice people who deserve to be safe. And as people everywhere deserve to be safe. But I realized in West Linn, this is something where whether it's people coming into West Linn who are driving impaired, or people who are driving around town impaired, or people who are getting impaired here and leaving town, I realized that, in West Linn, this is one of the biggest types of crime, maybe the most prevalent form of crime that there is, and that this was maybe where I could make a difference. And so it got to the point where every day I would start my shift, and I'd have to take my calls for service. But in between every one of those calls, or on my way to and from every one of those calls, I was watching the car in front of me, and I was watching to see, how's this guy stopping? Is he crossing past the white painted stop line? Is he remembering to signal? Is he accelerating away from the intersection too quickly? Is he driving kind of suspiciously slow? And I started getting really tuned into and focusing on that. And that's what I think you have to do to be successful in DUI enforcement. And luckily, the department ended up changing the policy, and so I'm allowed to wear short sleeves. And I actually think it's more of an icebreaker. I think it has more of a positive effect than anything else. You start talking to them, and they're like trying to touch me, or the more they talk and the more sort of inappropriate or unusual their behavior is, and the more I can smell the alcohol, the better. It actually has sometimes worked to my advantage. And the more you can connect with someone and have a conversation and talk, the better you can tell whether they are impaired or not. But DUIs, it's tricky. You got to find that car. You have to work really hard to find that impaired driver. You got to finesse them out of the car because you have to get their consent. The act of doing the tests has its own challenges. I find it an interesting exercise that takes a while and takes people skills and mental skills, and you really got to be on your toes. You got to be paying attention, and I think it's a mentally engaging experience, and one that it's a feel-good one of getting a drunk driver off the road. And I think that that's going to continue to be interesting for me, and I can't imagine it ever not being interesting. It doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes I run into people who I've previously arrested for DUI, and they look great. They're sober. Their eyes are clear. In some cases, they've lost weight. And sometimes, I know it sounds corny, but sometimes people flag me down, wave me down, and tell me basically how great they're doing, and how it wasn't the way probably they wanted it to happen, to get sober, to make a lifestyle change. But so I have seen people smiling afterward, or even see them sometimes up in court or whatever. And I think I try to treat people really well.